You had one job. I know what you did last summer 2025. Just one job. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, not to absolutely suck, and to be at least the third best I Know What You Did Last Summer movie. Well, it might have just done that. Barely. But I was hoping for the second best at least. Hey guys, happy October. I am here to give some thoughts on I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025, the nostalgia reboot with a very familiar setup. So this time we're introduced to a whole new group of friends. You have the lead character Ava, who was originally going to be played by Camila Mendes, who worked with this director on her previous movie Do Revenge. She dropped out. But Ava, the character, comes home for the holidays to her hometown of Southport. She attends her best friend Decca, I think you say the name, her engagement party. And they all go off in a group. They haven't seen each other for years, or at least Ava hasn't seen Decca for years. They go off in a group to see the fireworks. It's 4th of July. As always in these movies, and they hit someone on the road on their way, and Decca, Ava, who's very much playing the girl next door, Jennifer Love Hewitt role from the original movie, is the one who says we should call the police, and they're all talking about no, that could jeopardize our future. So they're all talked into sticking to the same story, not saying anything. We move forward a year and we get the familiar plot with a lot of nostalgic nods to the previous movies. The original in particular, Jennifer Love Hewitt, has a cameo. I guess she's almost doing the Scream 5 thing, which Sydney did in that movie, where she sort of comes in back into the fray. She's an expert and she's kind of in a way trying to pass the torch and help out a younger group of kids. She's now like a professor, like an academic. I think she's teaching true crime or something like that, but it's something quite related to her experiences. And it's that thing of, can she be drawn back into this whole thing? There's also a cameo for I'm blanking. Freddie Prinze Jr., Mr. Sarah Michelle Gellar. So he's back, warning the town we've been here before, in a very Jaws-like fashion. Definitely got vibes of that. And there's even a cameo for Sarah Michelle Gellar, believe it or not, so we'll get to that. So we've got a whole bunch of new characters. You've got Madeline Klein, who would be familiar for a few things to people as the second lead actress. She's the one who plays someone the one who's getting engaged, the best friend. So very much they're matching up with the tropes of the previous original movie with the characters, because she is very much the Sarah Michelle Gellar type character. And along the way, her new husband gets killed, so that becomes a big part of the movie as well, and the familiar murder mystery shenanigans. And yeah, they really do hit you over the head with so much in this movie. It's not a subtle movie at all. Not that it has to be, but it was just going to ridiculous lengths to just shoehorn in the cliffs and the splashing of the water, just to say, hey, this is like it was in the original movie, and the fireworks and all the different callbacks. But the main problem with this reboot is then it's just very toothless. It doesn't really do anything new, bar one or two things, a lot of which don't really grab the imagination or really grab me. But it's just a bit of a whimper of a film, and unfortunately it's very boring. If it was a fun, quite snappy remake of the original or reboot, then I probably wouldn't mind the lack of imagination. But it's pretty soulless and dry, and the characters are very plodding to watch and very dull to listen to. You don't really care about their problems. And the main problem is that they just feel like cardboard cutouts. Like they just feel like CW like type actors, and it's got this certain sheen to everything. And they're just characters that you don't care about because they're really rich, spoiled, trust fund type kids. And like as people have said, they could just buy their way out of things. It's like there's no real reason to care. At least in the original movie, it's not a great movie, but at least in that you can kind of say, okay, you've got characters in here. You've got characters who are like more working class and their whole futures could be put at jeopardy. And you at least get to know those characters, even though like they're not the most in depth or the most engaging characters you're ever gonna see. But these characters are very blank slates. They're very like wooden. And I don't know if the cast are necessarily bad. Like it could be mostly just the way the movie is written and directed, and how the characters are. Because Madeline Klein has been in quite a few things, and some of them quite good. I didn't know she was in Stranger Things actually, but her CV is pretty packed with stuff. So I'm guessing she must have something to her, but. No, she's very unlikable in this. The lead girl doesn't have the chops. You can actually tell, originally Camila Mendes was going to be in that role because she does look like Camila Mendes quite a lot, but she looks like a very second-rate soap opera version of Camila Mendes. Like, she was very one-note. There's very little to really make her that engaging or distinct or likable. And this movie just is a grab bag of things that it borrows from a lot of different movies. It feels very long and dreary at times. I know some people who have defended the movie has said that it has a sense of humour about itself. It's being quite tongue-in-cheek about being part of this franchise, and it is a more light-hearted one where it's like winking and nodding a lot and not taking itself too seriously. I think that's probably true, but I think that's only really true because at this point this franchise has become quite long in the tooth, and like we were saying, like when me and Horror Movie T did the first one, we kind of said then it probably takes itself a bit too seriously. And that's why some people get a bit more goofy fun charm from the second movie, as bad as that is. That maybe the first movie is a little bit better, but it does play itself a bit too straight because the idea of a fisherman going around killing kids and leaving all these like cryptic notes is a really silly gimmick. So this movie tries to lean into that, I think. Like it's definitely trying to be a bit more tongue-in-cheek. It just doesn't work. It's just not very funny. Like if you're going to do that, you've got to make it a bit more campy. You've got to have entertaining dialogue. And there really wasn't much here. That's the problem. There wasn't a sense of fun. It wasn't very sharp or snappy. The cameos are like okay, I guess. You know, they work well enough, especially the Jennifer Love Hewitt one. But they're just obviously kind of here for nostalgia. One of the best scenes in the movie was in the trailer, and that was the best kill scene, which is the one quite early on where Decca's boyfriend, well, her new husband, I'll say, he gets killed off. And it's when he's in the bath, or when she's in the bath and he gets killed off in the other room. And it's with the hook gun. I'm blanking on the name now, but they use them to get sharks. Oh damn it! Someone will have to remind me. But you know what I'm talking. The harpoon, that's it. The harpoon gun. And that's probably the best horror scene in the movie because it was at least fun that they changed up the weapon, and it was a decent enough kill. I think they lingered on it a bit too much, so that messed it up a little bit, but it was at least a little bit of a different kind of kill for this franchise. And it's sort of funny because then later on Decker is cozying up to like one of the best friends, and as I said, they all seem like CW models apart from the lead girl, possibly Decker herself, though she does have a type, but a lot of the other guys seem like very CW type, generic type models. And as I said, it's sort of riffing off a bunch of movies. There's barely anything to the kills or to the horror scenes. There's no real suspense. And we've got to talk about the Sarah Michelle Gellar cameo because there was rumours that there was going to be a cameo from her. But unlike the other characters who survived the original movies, it was like, well, how can you bring her back because her character was killed off? And I don't know, it's a scene. I'm not sure what I think about it. Like, it was a very cringeworthy, over-the-top scene where they just find a way to work her into the movie because the Decker character, who's like the beauty queen type or the shallow superficial one, although not really that much, but she's having these sort of dreams, and Sarah Michelle Gellar from the first movie appears to her, and it's meant to be a whole thing where she's being tricked by the killer, and it's a whole production being put on to like sucker her in. And it's like, well, they actually did it. They actually went there. They found a way to work her into the movie. So it's certainly a scene you can remember, which you can't say about a lot of the movie because so much of this is in one ear and out the next. It's a surreal experience because it really feels like such a cringe parody of a movie, and the characters are so bad. And then we just get to the dumb reveal late on. This time they're doing a Scream thing because there's two killers. You have this character, I think her name was Stevie or something, I'm blanking on the name, but she was the one who they picked up that night. Like, they meet her at the party. I think she's like a waitress or something. And I think she's just had a fight or something with her partner. And they say, well, okay, why don't you come with us to see the fireworks? So that almost sets up, I guess, then she's going to be revealed later to be one of the villains, one of the killers. And they kind of flash back to that scene and show what exactly happened, because it's her boyfriend, girlfriend, I think it was a girlfriend, it's being quite modern, but it's her girlfriend who was run over that night, so she's been responsible. But that's sort of one of the twists they go for, which at this point isn't even that really fun or original, but then they do the Scream thing, so there's actually two people. So the end of the movie is really weird because Stevie, I'll just call her Stevie, I can't actually remember the name, but she then disappears. Like, this whole thing comes out when they're on the boat and they think they're in the clear, basically, then the whole thing is sorted. So she's just on this, they're on this boat, and it gets revealed that it's Stevie, and Stevie shoots at them, and there's this random thing where the Decker character goes overboard and gets injured, and you think she's dead, but then she washes up on shore later on, and the Ava character finds her, and they have this really cheesy type moment where it's like, well, she's still out there, one of the killers. And that seems to be the first red flag. Then they're setting up for a sequel which I don't think we're getting now because this movie really struggled. I think it made a bit more money over time, but whether it made enough to warrant a sequel, I'm not sure, and the reviews have been very negative, the reaction from the fans. But you just get this weird, wide open stuff, which is like, okay, even if you want a sequel, I mean, don't do it like that. At least give a bit of closure to this. I mean, don't try and. I think, me and Madison have talked about this. Don't give this kind of open door ending where you're like, okay, we'll return and we'll have the next part almost like it's a TV show rather than it's a movie which has a complete story, ends, and then if you want to do a sequel, you can just kind of pick back up with the characters and like have another killer. Or at least you can leave it a little bit open, but not like they do with this, where they almost prep you for, okay, she's still out there. And then they're just... I guess they're almost going for the 28 years later type vibe, where they're trying to build a trilogy, almost, and it's this idea of, unlike the previous movies where, like, the killer has been, like, sorted out by the end and you have a definite end, like we're setting up this other movie like a backdoor, but without any of like the momentum really of that 28 years later movie. But I need to get to who the other killer is, and I couldn't believe this in the cinema, and I couldn't believe the explanation, because the other killer is Freddie Prinze Jr., and it's like, what the fuck? It's a bit like if Gale Weathers was revealed to be a Ghostface in like a Scream movie, in Scream 7. And his motivation is just so lame. It's like the excuse of, because Stevie has been working for him as a waitress because he owns a seafood restaurant. Yes. Cringe as fuck, but he owns a seafood restaurant. See what they did there? And Stevie has been working for him, so she's been telling him all her troubles, and he's been letting on the plan, and for some reason you would have thought he would have turned her in or been like, okay, no, you can't do that, I'm going to put a stop to this, because what happened in the past, you would think that would be his reaction. But no, he decides to get in on the act, so it turns out he's the second killer. Scream style, he teams up with her, and his excuse for doing that is he felt sorry for her. He didn't want her going through what he went through all those years ago. So that's his answer to help her out, to help her kill and torment the other characters. Makes no sense at all. It's a weak ass excuse. You could have just made Jennifer Love Hewitt the killer if you were going to make that the motivation. It's really desperate, guys. It's really sad and desperate. And finally, Sarah, I don't know how she figures it out, because there was very little hint of it really to her, but she pieces it together somehow. Jennifer Love Hewitt goes to confront Ray. I guess she didn't know him as well as she thought she did in the late 90s. And they have a standoff at the bar. And Ray gets killed. Like, he gets killed by Jennifer Love Hewitt. But Stevie apparently survives and is still out there. And we get one more scene in the credits, which is really sequel bait, but so entertaining. Maybe the scene of this crappy movie. And that is Brandy. They put Brandy in the credits trying to set up I Know What You Did Last Summer, Nostalgia Reboot 2. Brandy's in the credits. Jennifer Love Hewitt goes to see her. She's like, oh, who died now? She's got the freaky hair. And it literally goes back to the credits on the words, whose shit do we need to fuck up now? And it's good. It is good. Like, it's kind of desperate and cheesy and just so silly, but that's what makes it so funny, and Brandy just goes for it. It's sad to say it might be the highlight of the movie, and it was in the credits. There you have it. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025. It couldn't have gone much worse, really. Let's be honest about this one. What a shitstorm of the movie. What a dull, lifeless experience. Really cringe, really desperate. Very little to recommend it. Boring ass characters. Yeah, it's a real dud. It's a real dud. It went out on a whiff. I kind of got a perverse thrill at what I was watching in the cinema. Like, just how surreal it was watching what they were doing, but that's all I can say about it, guys. 2.5 out of 10. 2.5. It's somehow the second worst of the franchise. I don't know how that's happened, but yeah, you really blew it. IKWYDLS 2025. Have a good one, guys. Have a good October. See you later.
Hi! Thanks for coming!
Can you believe our best friends are getting married?
A marked envelope? Could it be cash? A check? Oh my god.
I'm calling 911.
Everyone, chill out! We don't tell anybody what happened tonight.
We should go. What does it say? What if someone saw us?
Outside of us, no one knows what happened, right?
Hello? Please stop!
Someone is clearly coming after us.
I need to start drinking.
The cops are not gonna help us.
And we'll find someone who will.
It isn't something I like talking about.
You survived this once. We need your help.
You can't run. You can't hide. Get them before they get you. Whoever's doing this, it's personal to them.
One of us is hiding something.
We are not gonna die today. What are you waiting for?